Welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of handshakes. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy From Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, reigning FPL champion Chuck Bailey and super producer Ian Stimpson. Ian, are you going to be adding any dither to this audio, or
Don't do it, Oscar. Don't do it. You make me so unpopular. Be it fish chat or digital audio chat. You make
fish
me
chat.
So
How's
unpopular.
Milo? How's Milo? He still got the 2 girlfriends?
Fine, sexually mature, and having a lovely old time.
Little Milo Juniors coming out soon.
Who knows? Could be.
What about you, Chuck? You went kayaking recently. Want to tell the people about the kayaking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see any fish?
No.
Any fish that Ian might want?
They don't tend to be... I don't know if there are fish in the Riverway. Loads of football. So much football to talk about. Here we are.
Yes.
And I'm on a clock.
Yeah. Much. We are recording a day late here because we wanted to let Liverpool play Palace and see what happened with that before we recorded. Otherwise, that
No
would be...
care given to Peterborough Sheffield Wednesday, which is currently playing, but fine. Yeah, we know where your priorities lie.
Yeah, all right, have it. How's Posh Island? Tell us about Posh Island. What's going on?
No, I don't want to talk about Posh Island. I'm just saying it's funny that we.
It seems like you want to talk about it. You brought it up.
Delay the pod for Liverpool Palace, but
I don't
not
know.
for
You
Peterborough
brought it
Sheffield
up,
Wednesday.
so it seems like you kind of want to give a full report of how things
I'll
are.
fucking see you tomorrow.
No, just saying, if I've got half an eye on something else, it's not my fault.
No one cares about League One.
Yeah.
Not even people who are in League One.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's fair. Well, we are recording a bit late, so we are going to get straight to it this week so we can rush this out and get it out on time for everyone's regular earballs. But if you are joining us for the first time, thank you. We're very happy to have you. We are 1 American and 2 Brits, and we try to talk about the Premier League, but we often get distracted talking about fish and kayaking and dithered audio and things of this nature.
You get distracted.
Yeah, that's true. If you're back, thank you. We love you. We appreciate it. Share the podcast with a friend. Leave us a review, 5 stars. Join us on patreon.com/milesoffside and or patreon.com/milesoffsidepod. One of those is the correct one. I do know
which one's the right one.
But look at Ian's little face when I pretend not to know.
You're allergic to success, Oscar. That's what annoys me.
Hey, we've been on this for 4 years now. If you didn't figure that out yet, you're, you have a word.
Choking on my own rage here.
We're going to skip the news this week. We do, like I said, we're recording a day later than usual, so we want to turn this around as quick as possible. So we're just going to jump right into the fixtures with our famous segment, Rapid Fire Fixtures.
Oh, the iPad's back. We didn't know we were going to get live sounds. What a time to be alive.
I've fixed the 10-year-old iPad through the magic of charging it.
Well, there you go. It needs electricity. Ian's still getting used to the idea of electricity. He's used to everything running on candle oil or whatever they used to oil.
Good vibes.
Yeah, steam-powered iPads.
All right. Simmer down.
You want to just get to the crazy one, or do you want to go in order? It's up to you guys. How do you want to play this?
Which one's the crazy one?
What do you think? Which one's the crazy one?
The one with the fights, the ones with the dicking, the ones with the madness and the headbutts. I don't know which one. So much. Football in a heat wave. Everyone was worried about the game being slow. Nope, just turned everyone into a fucking psycho.
Yeah, let's start with the big one then. We'll start with Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. Chelsea 1.4 to Tottenham's 1.1 on XG. Gentlemen, there's so much to talk about with this match. We got tactics. We got violence. We got referee drama. Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. Where shall we start? Ian, I'll leave it to you to take this conversation in one of the 3 directions to begin with.
Okay, well, let's say just ultimately Chelsea controlled the vast majority of the game. You were unlucky to draw. I think that's fair to say. Even the staunchest Tottenham fan, I think, would say that you controlled the game. Even
Kante came out saying that we deserved the win afterwards, so,
Well, there you go. But that is very much not the prevailing thing that you think about when you think of this game, which was the fucking chaos of it. 25 minutes to go, and this game just kicked into life.
Yeah, what a game, man. What a fucking crackhead of a game.
It was mad. But, I'll just go with one thing that I particularly enjoyed, which is I cannot stand it when commentators, TV companies, always forcing their pundits and everything to toe the line of, oh, well, you you don't like to see this, do you? This is ruining a good game. They threw all that out the window this time and were fucking loving it. And
everybody, universally, handshake gate, the over handshake, or whatever you want to call it.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the fact that they were just all in on it and finally going, yes, we do want this. This is exactly what we want. This is the entertainment of the game. It was absolutely brilliant. All, again, you know me, big fan of the soap opera around it. It was fucking great.
I mean, we did mention last week that the handshakes were back and hopefully we'd see some drama around them. And
true story.
Little did we know. I'm going to read a tweet to you guys by someone called Brooks Peck, formerly of the Dirty Tackle blog. For some American people might know that back in the day on Yahoo. After years of handshake drama based entirely around when they were avoided, we finally have an innovation to the genre. The overshake. Thank you, Kante and Tuchel.
An innovation to the drama, yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, the thing was as well, Tuchel said it was because Kante didn't look him in the eye as he passed. Well, there's since pictures have come out showing Tuchel's got previous on doing that very same thing of just walking past Dyche and barely acknowledging his presence, which you might say is deserved. But yeah, I mean, it was proper playground stuff, and when they were both already on a yellow. As well, so
yeah, we'll be seeing them both banned, I think, for a little while after that. Tuchel, especially with his comments about the ref after the fact, but that's less interesting than Antonio's comments after the fact on his social media. I don't know if you saw that. Kante posted a picture of Tuchel running past him with the caption, "Lucky I didn't see you. Making you trip over would have been well deserved." 3 laughing crying face emojis.
I love it. This is a man who is in his. I mean, how old is Kante? He must be 50-something, surely. Mm-hmm. And, he's, getting on the gram and just giving it some emoji banter. And it's like, why not? Why not?
Incredible stuff. I mean, I love it. What's a better manager fracas, do we think? The overshake or the flippant hair tie flip of Mourinho versus Arsene?
Yeah, that was. No, I much prefer this. This is actually physical. This is, it felt like it could get nasty at any point. Which was
they had a bit of progress
really
too
fun.
During the match, before the handshake. It was delightful. I hope that they grow into mortal vicious enemies.
Well, I think this is the continuation of a rivalry that could get really, really good because. And when I say really good, I mean, for me, and I've discussed this before, but in the sort of 2000s when I was watching a lot of football, the early 2000s, it was Man United Arsenal. Whenever they were playing, me and my mates at uni would find a pub and watch it because you'd get a good, high-tempo, high-tempered, pissed-off game with, a great atmosphere. And it was definitely that. And I think you could be, especially because they're both they're both competing for the same sorts of league positions at the minute. They both seem like they're at the similar level. I thought this.
Did they seem like a similar level? We'll get to that later.
No, not in this game. But you know what I'm saying? They're both going for the same positions in the league, And I think you've got what could be a really good continuing rivalry here, especially if the managers hate each other like this.
The players hate the fuck out of each other. It's always a violent game. There's always cards. There's I think back, people are calling this the Battle of the Bridge 2.0 because if you think back to when we stopped them from winning the title and handed it to Leicester 6 years ago, whenever that was another fights and violence and just Chelsea Spurs are always going at it. It is not a fixture that fails to entertain. Chuck, while we're on Handshake Gate, what did you think of the proper shithouse tactics there? I'm sure you were loving it.
Well, I think it's good that we get this every so often. I'm quite glad this isn't all football games. I do not yearn for that. But this is definitely now built up, I think, as the feistiest matchup between our top and our best teams in the league, because obviously Liverpool and City is so friendly. North London derby is, it just seems to be one team wins it. Chelsea Arsenal isn't as much. No one cares about Man United. So this one is kind of the last one we've got left, and Antonio Conte being as emotionally led as he is, saying he prefers to meet aggression with aggression. He prefers to come out there to kill them on the pitch. And Tuchel seems to be on a mission to wind up. So I think it was just a perfect cauldron, like you said, Ian, of two teams that are going for the same thing, probably similar status at the minute. One's trying to kind of rebuild, one's kind of quickly coming into an ascendancy with Conte and the fitness and that. And I think especially if not during the game, before the game, I think Tottenham were kind of being seen by a lot of people as the favourites for this one, based off Chelsea's kind of less than inspiring performance against Everton versus the way they played against Southampton. And so the fact that Tottenham seemed to be happy to concede a lot of the play to Chelsea, especially early on. I mean, possession-wise, it's ridiculous. It's twice as much for Chelsea, twice as many passes, everything. But where Tottenham did kind of do well, apart from the cheating, was that they were incredibly fit and could come back at them. And so yeah, I think I was fairly surprised to see how much control A was ceded to Chelsea, and B that it then meant that they did control the game very, very well, especially early on.
I would counter with, I don't know that necessarily control was ceded as much as Chelsea took the control there. I think there was a couple of tactical decisions that before the match we were talking about in the Slack, and I was like, oh, that's a weird choice. Reece is at center back, Ruben's starting at right wing back, and then you think about that was to sort of mitigate the threat of Son, because obviously you don't want Son going up against Aspie. You have him going up against Reece James, who for the record I think might be the best defender in England at this point. Overall, obviously Trent offers more in attack and Virgil offers more in defense, but if you take the complete package, Reece James, holy fucking shit, he's an amazing player. And that was on display this game more than pretty much most. He had Son in his pocket, and he was creating, and he scored, and all of that. But I think that there were some tactical choices that Tuchel made that made it possible for Chelsea to really exert their dominance on this game. I think we were clearly the better team. The XG is close, but that XG includes two shots that never should have been, right?
But I don't know, but I don't see... I don't think you take control. Tottenham could have pressed more. I don't think you get a 30% difference in possession stats by one team not being happy to sit and just play on the break more.
Because when Tottenham changed formation, things did change. So I tend to agree that I think Tottenham, the team, were not getting as carried away as the media were. Like you say, Chuck, Tottenham seemed to go in as favourites to this game. And yet they've not got a great record at Stamford Bridge. And
they haven't won in 30 years or something.
I was quite surprised at how much everyone was assuming that Tottenham would win. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting because I think Son, you say James had Son in his pocket. Son did look out of sorts.
Fucking ruined my fan tracks. He only got 16 points, which you get points for blinking in fan tracks. So,
mine too.
I mean, I have just checked, we're talking about Reece James, and I've just checked the Peterborough score, and Reece James for Sheffield Wednesday has been sent off. So,
Oh, really?
He gets around. Clearly, he goes everywhere, Reece James.
Good stuff.
There you go. He's a busy man. Oh. He's a busy man. He's putting in perfect crosses for Kai, who wasted it.
Yeah, well, that guy just fucking, sort yourself out. Stop just being angry all the time and score some goals and earn your status, mate. I know you've scored some big, impressive goals, but you're very quickly becoming a Divock Origi adjacent player. So sort that out, Kai, for goodness sake. Fights, drama, everything, hair pulling. Emotionally led.
Hair pulling. Shall we talk about the referees then, I guess?
Well, we should go incident by incident, I think. So
Let them play, guys. Let them play.
Look, I'm generally of the opinion that violence against racists is a good thing, and you should punch bigots and pull their hair and do whatever. But the referees should also still do their jobs. I don't know.
We'll get there. So let's take them in order. Because I think the first one was the foul on, let's go inverted commas until we've discussed it. The foul on Havertz by Bentancur.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't a foul. Clearly wasn't a foul.
Correct. There's four eyes. Four eyes have seen it. That's it. Over, innit? Like Jurgen Klopp says. They've said it. There's no more discussion.
Okay, so I'm sensing the sarcasm there. So you both think it was a foul?
It was a foul. It was a foul. But
clearly,
the point had passed at which it had been called back.
Yeah, it was 44 seconds, I believe, before the goal, 44. Right? It was like a decent.
But the point is, I don't think it was clearly a foul because I don't think he went through. He went round. He got the ball first, and yes, he did have to. He did go get the ankle as well.
Correct.
But he didn't go through with any force. I don't think it was definitely a foul. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it was clearly a foul.
Surprise! The Northern Boomer League One fan doesn't think it was a foul.
You take that fucking back, Boomer.
Okay, I apologize.
It's absolutely outrageous.
Cross the line. Yes, I should never call anyone a boomer.
I'll take all the rest of the shit. But equally, if it had been given a foul, I wouldn't have been like, well, the game's gone. That's ridiculous, because I think things are subjective. So, okay, fine, but we're saying that was a foul. You're absolutely right. 44 seconds passed, and Chelsea got the ball back, in between that foul and the goal. You can't take things back to a silly degree.
No, that was an outrageous call, but I don't think that it should play in as far as the goal being disallowed. I think the reason that goal should be disallowed is because Richarlison was offside and interfered.
Right, that's the next one. So.
And clearly fucked Mendy up.
That's the next one.
Mendy didn't dive, started to dive in the other direction. Like, he clearly was thrown off by Richarlison being there.
He had a clear. I don't think it's a cut and dry, because Mendy could see the ball clearly at the point of the shot.
At the point it was struck.
However, Richarlison was in an offside position, and the ball's gone around Richarlison to go in.
And Richarlison moved towards the ball as it was traveling. After the shot, Richarlison moves towards the ball, which Mendy reacts. So you can see his body shifts. He didn't start to dive, that's being dramatic, but his body clearly shifts, and it stops him for enough of a split second that's why the ball.
But you're talking about, hang on, you're talking about from the ball being struck to it travelling 7 or 8 yards. Can Mendy possibly can he possibly react that quickly to something Richarlison's doing? We're talking about
of course.
0.2 of a second.
Reigning keeper of the world, best keeper in the world.
No.
So
I just don't. I don't think you can call that.
Clearly not best keeper in the world. Should have saved it.
I think if you start calling that offside, you're calling so much stuff offside, and I don't know if he's not in his eye line at the point that the ball struck. I struggle to go along with it being offside.
I think it's marginal.
It's him moving towards the ball and Mendy reacting to that.
The problem is there's so many marginal calls, therefore, in the lead up to that goal that you're like, right, so when every marginal call has broken the way of creating that goal, they accumulate when it shouldn't be looked at as a accumulation.
It's like we would say with expected penalties with Palace against
Arsenal.
Exactly.
Expected VAR is off the charts here.
I reckon the reason it isn't given as the offside is probably because of how far out Richarlison is. If that's on the edge of the 6-yard box, that gets given as offside.
100%.
So they probably do kind
fair.
of factor it in, and that's the kind of variance angle that we expected. And of course, because VAR would get rid of all of these discussions. Who was on VAR this week? Oh, yes, he was.
Mike
Dean.
Dino.
I mean, the moment I saw Anthony Taylor's name, I was like, oh, we're going to get fucked
every
over
time,
by some...
Here we go, fucking agenda, blah, 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 blah.
Come
all
on.
the refs Oscar, all the refs are shit. They're all shit.
That is it.
To be clear, I'm not saying he's biased against Chelsea. I'm just saying he's fucked us over so many times in the past that I've come to expect.
Hundreds of thousands of signatures petitions that are being sent to the FA.
It has to go before Parliament, right? You got 100,000 signatures.
Yeah, that lie is believed by a lot of people, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
I also want to be really clear. I'm not here to moan about referees.
Yeah.
We got exceptionally fucked over by Anthony Taylor in this match. It should have been 2-0. But I hate when people complain about referees and wah, the referee. It happens. Everybody gets fucked by referees.
Be better.
We should have put away our chances. Sterling missed a golden chance. Havertz missed a golden chance.
Yeah.
That lineup for the last 15 minutes was insane. Ruben and Gallagher is not a midfield when Tottenham are chasing the game. There was things that happened that yes, that second corner after the Cucurella hair pull shouldn't have been going. But there was 3 wide open Tottenham players on that corner.
There's a picture where it's there's no Chelsea player there competing with that ball.
No, and they were clearly distracted, I guess, or frazzled, or whatever you want to say. That corner shouldn't have been happening, but it did happen, and they didn't defend it well, and we conceded.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and cry about the referees. It was unbelievably bad. I think the second worst refereeing job in a Chelsea match that I've ever seen, besides that Barcelona game in 2009, Tom Henning over Abel, go fuck yourself. And same thing to Anthony Taylor. Actually, you know what? Don't even go fuck yourself, because a little alone time can be quite pleasant sometimes. I hope you go get an awkward hand job behind a Denny's that isn't even enjoyable. That's what you should go do, Anthony Taylor.
I mean, beggars can't be choosers, yeah. So the last incident then, the big refereeing incident is the Cucurella hair pull, which happened just before the corner where you conceded.
There's nothing in the laws of the game around pulling hair.
That's absolutely right. There genuinely isn't.
How weird is that? That's really weird to me. When someone said that, I was like, nah. And I'm not going to lie, I haven't looked it up, but I can totally believe that it just wouldn't be acknowledged.
Wouldn't be thought of.
Because you look at the pull, and yes, he pulled the hair, and yes, your hair is a more sensitive area, and yes, I'm going to sit on Romero's side in this argument. You look at how he pulled him. Like, if you pulled someone's arm by the same token, would it be a foul? Is it violent conduct? It's definitely violent conduct. But is it violent conduct?
I love how VAR can be like, is this foul violent conduct red worthy? No? Okay, well, I guess it's not a foul
Well, it's
then,
nothing.
even though it was maybe worthy of a red. Like, clearly you're saying it was a foul if you're looking at it to see if it's a red card worthy
It's like a fire engine showing up and they're going, hold on, is this an electrical fire or a wood fire? Sorry, I'm only equipped to deal with wood fires. You'll have to wait for the other engine.
If it's not a raging inferno, I'm not interested. Yeah,
sorry.
Look, I'll say this. Anthony Taylor, bald. Mike Dean, bald.
Yeah.
Bias?
Coincidence?
You decide.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that was a ridiculous call as well, as you say, apart from the fact that Anthony Taylor was looking across that, the bit he should be looking at for these sorts of incidents and still managed to not catch it. And as you say, VAR then looks at it, and because it can only deal with violent conduct, and apparently that's not dragging someone to the floor via their hair is not violent conduct. Then I don't know what to say about it. Really,
yeah. But you can tell it's kind of the way Kante wants to operate, and you see it with certain managers. Mourinho was always like the siege mentality of us against them, and Kante always shows his emotions so much, and he wants that to radiate out on the pitch, and I think it does. Now the ugly side of that is that you are going to get things like this where things do get too violent and whatever and get a bit dirty. However, that creates an environment and that passes out then into the fan base, and the stadium becomes a lot more raucous when they're playing at home. And so I think it's all part of exactly what he wants to do. And I think there's probably an extent where Tuchel wants to harness that as well with the way he acts. You look at the way he celebrated for Reece James' goal. That seemed mad to me, that it's the 77th minute and you're doing that. Like,
yeah.
The second he did it, I was like, you've set yourself up for a fall here. You've run all the way down to the corner. But for me, that is. But for the fans that are there, for the players, they see their manager and like, that's kind of what I was wondering a bit with Chelsea, with the last year that they've had, both all the activities off the pitch, plus the fact Tuchel himself was going through a divorce and all that kind of stuff, which I think, that obviously warrants an impact to the team. It's good to be showing at least that there's that team spirit there to kind of build on.
Yeah, I think I should be madder about this result, like especially the shithouse nature of it and the getting fucked over by referees. I think like 10 years ago when I was, in my mid-20s, I would have been like throwing shit and just like ruined my day for the rest of the day. But like, I think I'm actually fairly happy with how this went because we were like clearly better than Spurs by a significant margin. And like the reports of our demise given a bad preseason are largely overstated. Like, bad summer vibes, who fucking cares? Like, we're a good team and we play good. Like, yeah, I don't know. The thing that really upsets me is the Kante injury. That's the big one for me. Because he was amazing at his absolute best, showed why he's still, like, incredible. And you guys will remember a couple of years ago, like, the Champions League season, I was on the we should sell Kante while we can still get money for him train. And then everyone was like, look at this fucking idiot. He thinks they should sell the best midfielder in the world. And then you won a Champions League and he was your best player. And I said, like, yeah, okay, fine. We kept him. We paid him. But, like, this is a sentimental but still bad decision. And since then, he has played less than 2,000 minutes 2 out of 3 seasons. And now he's looking at weeks, if not months, on the sideline again. And we're not going to be able to get any fucking money for him. He's in the last year of his contract. He's in his 30s. He's unbelievably injury prone. Like, we paid him, we kept him, and it got us a Champions League, so I'm, like, happy with that. But I still go back to, like, the good decision, the like, smart decision would have been to sell him back then. And my only hope is that him getting injured here with time left in the window is just going to force us to finally look for his long-term replacement because it continues to be a problem, and it's going to continue to be a huge problem for this season because, again, Conor Gallagher and Ruben Loftus-Cheek is not a midfield two. Like, that's not viable. That's not sustainable. So I'm hoping this means we go out and get Frankie de Jong and someone who's even Frankie de Jong isn't particularly defensive. He's more of a Mason Mount type again. So either we need to switch to a 4-3-3 or we like need to get like a really good defensive mid. But that's the big takeaway for me is like we were great. We looked great. We played great. The vibes are fine. The vibes are not bad like everyone was worried about. We were clearly better than Spurs. But Kante got hurt, so we'll see what the long-term sort of repercussions of that is. But that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I guess I should be angrier, but I don't know.
I get it.
What do you get? Does this change your opinion of Chelsea in any significant way, or of Spurs for that matter?
Nah.
All right, then let's move on to the next fixture. Let's rewind then to Saturday, August 13 at 10 a.m. / 15 p.m. / 7 a.m. And that was Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 0. Man City 1.6 to Bournemouth 0.1.
Well, why are we talking about this game? What's the point?
Because City, huh?
Okay.
Wow.
Present me with anything interesting.
I'm inclined to agree. We knew this was going to happen.
Phil Foden getting an angry halftime sub. He knew what he did. Erling Haaland is not your friend anymore.
He does know what he did. You're right. Yeah.
He knew what he did. That's it. That's all I've got from this game.
I hadn't even connected that. Yeah, of course. He doesn't square it to Haaland for an obvious tap in, and then Pep goes right hooked. And then in the post match, Pep goes, he knows what he's done basically, and he says he needs to know that Erling is always going to be there, and he needs to play that ball because that will anger Pep so much. Not the fact that they won 4-0, but the fact they didn't win 5-0. Yeah,
because it's team and not individual and whatever. Yeah. What we learned nothing from this game. Nothing.
Fair enough. It is still of note that, like, look at Liverpool or Chelsea or other top teams, like, they're taking a couple of weeks to warm up into the season, and City continue to just be, like, fucking running away with it. I mean,
who did City even play first game? West Ham. West Ham looked fucked, and they played Bournemouth.
Yeah, but in those two games, City have generated 3.9 and conceded 0.5.
Correct.
That's terrifying numbers. That's, like, crazy numbers.
I mean, yes, we're all
but yeah,
fucked.
I guess there's nothing particularly, like, notable
No.
other than Haaland blanking for your FPL, huh? That ruined anybody's week?
Meh.
Assist.
Well, he didn't. He got an assist.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Fair enough. All right. Well, then let's move on to the other Manchester team getting dicked.
Please.
This is Man United. This is Man United. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Brentford 4. We had Brentford 4, Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.8 to Man United's 0.8 on XG. I didn't watch this one because you know who was in the starting lineup, so I have no interest in watching that one happening, but my God, was I enjoying the texts.
What
the Slack was popping off.
Every day This is Man United. Eric 8 Hog doesn't know what he's got himself in for. They
I think he's starting to figure it out.
Delightfully awful. Well, yeah, there was a thing on Twitter today that said he's realised some things he didn't recognise going in. Like, this guy didn't go to the Caribbean with Ajax at the end of last season, cancelled that to come to Manchester United early. Remember, he was in the stands and all of that when Ranić was there. Didn't have a meeting with Ranić. Don't need it, mate. I can do this. Ajax, I'll bring in the guys I know. Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, Christian Eriksen, that'll be good. None of this works. None of these things that I have bought work.
What are you talking about, Chuck?
Brilliant.
Playing Eriksen as a DM?
Fucking great. Wasn't he a false 9 in one of the games?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Just turn the thing upside down. Just turn the chart upside down. We'll try it that way.
From Holland. We played the total football. We put the player at the top on the 9. It doesn't work. Doesn't work, mate. You can't play. Martinez clearly cannot play next to... No one can play next to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is a fucking liability. This is brilliant. I fucking love it. I find myself so conflicted. There has been so much from everywhere, so much acknowledgement and publicity of everything they've done wrong for like 7 years now, and they still haven't fixed it. This is fucking brilliant. Give me more of this shit. Brentford knew exactly what they're doing, are a well-run club, a club with an identity, analytics as well, so that ticks the Oscar boner, and they just fucking went, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to demolish you in 35 minutes and then just do fuck all else because we're just not bothered, and you're just going to keep making shit passes, shots from out of the box, and your greatest ever player is just going to roll around like a petulant little dick and just get absolutely fucked. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Brentford. Immense. Thank you for bringing me so much joy.
Yeah, and that petulant little prick, as you say, who was clapped onto the field.
This
by
is the
those
game that
Man
you should have left
United
at half
fans.
time. That's the game where they all should have just fucking left at half time.
It seemed like they did, from what I've heard. Like that, they didn't even offer anything once Brentford pulled off.
What can you? 4-0, completely demoralised, playing a system that clearly doesn't suit you. And by system, I just mean playing out from the back. David De Gea's only good thing he's had in his locker for years now has been his shot stopping, and that obviously
Evidently not.
That obviously
Yeah,
eluded
it's been a
him.
couple of years at least
yeah,
since that
fair
was...
enough. But that eluded him very quickly in this game, and then the house of cards came tumbling down. The decision to play the ball to Eriksen when he's got a man directly on his shoulder just seems so insane when you've got. And I think it might have been Maguire, so maybe it wasn't insane on your right that you could play it to. But
Like,
is an unmarked Maguire better than a marked Eriksen? I'm not really sure.
It's like in The Simpsons when all the kids get adopted by the Flanders and Maggie's sat there and just looking at the family like in the mud, looking at the Flanders like, oh, which one do I go for? It's great. Man. It's so great. It's so great. I love this. This is great. More of this, please. Who do they play next week? Liverpool. Excellent.
Yeah, Monday Night Football next week. Liverpool, I mean, they're going to get eviscerated if they're anything like this.
It doesn't even matter that Liverpool have all those injuries. It's fuck it. Like, this is brilliant. Especially Brentford's fourth goal, because win it from your own box, up to Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney plays the ball first, and Bumo in that situation to get all the way up there and just slot it, just lovingly slot it. Just relegating Man United. Relegating Man United, second game in. Incredible.
But you're absolutely right. It's, the difference between the teams is absolutely insane. You've got one well-organised, a manager who is fully integrated into the club, knows the club inside
everything
out
about his players.
Absolutely.
Knows
everything about his players, absolutely. Just has a plan. The players all know what they're doing and they know how to execute it. Now, look, Ten Hag's only had 2 actual games. 8 Hag. I must do that. You're absolutely right.
I mean, you won't have to call him 8 Hag for long.
For long, no, absolutely.
Yeah, 7 Hag.
7 Hag.
He had a long time with this team. He had a long time with Man United. And he has, I've been critical of him already, and it's just a case of I don't see anything that makes me think that this is a job that he can do, and that might not even be discrediting him because I'm not sure anyone can do this job.
No, because I think because we've said it last time that everything around you is working against you. So fuck it. Look, Brentford. I'm done. Let's not talk about Manchester United anymore. Fuck them. This is brilliant. I very much look forward to next week when they also lose. Brentford, we had questions about them coming into this season because we've seen in recent years clubs come up, do really well, and then the second season, it starts to unravel. And yes, it is very early days, but a draw and a win in your first 2, your first home game, first home game last year, opening night, they beat Arsenal 2-0. First home game this year, they beat Manchester United 4-0. Exactly like you said, Ian, they had a game plan. Thomas Frank knows these players, has brought players back from injury. Josh Da Silva obviously is getting a fair bit of attention on FPL Twitter for whichever extreme you would like. But before they came up, I think it was because they didn't get relegated one year. They came close, and Palace were linked with him and Brian Mbumo as potentially as wingers. And this would have obviously been before Ivan Toney came in as well.
Right.
And it never happened for whatever reason. And then obviously when they got promoted, Josh Da Silva was a big part of that, but got a big injury and has had a few. Yeah. So he's only just coming back in. And, the way he was treated in the first game, Thomas Frank took him all the way over to the fans and made sure they clapped him and gave him the applause needed for that return. And then again, having a shot, and yes, it's very lucky, but it's a symptom of that and that positive atmosphere, the game plan, knowing that you can take a few pot shots against Manchester United from distance, and look, that's going to happen. De Gea is going to make howlers like that, and so. But I mean, Brentford are going to they're going to worry some of the teams that are looking like they might fall through the trapdoor, and get involved, because if they can just stay organised and they know their shit, They know their analytics. They know the players they brought in. They've still got some more to kind of drop in and potentially make some more moves. I think it's really good things, really exciting things at Brentford. Yeah. Even if they do a lot of the time roll around on the floor and cheat, which has happened in the past.
This looked like a tailored plan, didn't it? Let's press them high because they won't be able to deal with that. Thomas Frank said we looked at what Brighton did well against them, and we knew that we had that pressing ability, so we could just keep the pressure on. And yeah, brilliant. It's just a great, well-run team doing good things against a fucking basket case, and it was delightful.
All right. Sounds like it was a good match.
You'd have had the best time, Oscar.
Surely, Oscar, in this situation, fair enough, Oscar, not watching Manchester United, and that's absolutely fine. I was kind of adjacent to the game and checking in every so often at a barbecue. But watch the highlights, because you won't see Man United. You won't see them. Not just because they didn't play, but also they wore a fucking stupid green kit that was the exact same colour as the pitch in the sun.
United.
So you literally would not see them. So tick, tick, tick. Give it a watch, mate.
From one green team to another, I don't know. We don't really have to talk
Nottingham
about this
Forest?
one. It was for all the hams, but it is. Mr. Simpson, please cue the jingle so we can give the award out.
One green team to another. Playing red.
They're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the week.
We had another ham derby in Enfo versus West Ham. And Enfo won it out 1-0, 1.4 to 2.1 on West Ham. I didn't watch this.
Worth noting, we did have another ham derby. We had Wolverhampton against Fulham, but that was a draw. On his evening. On his evening.
So they both get to stay ham.
They both ham. Pork.
But now we have Nottingham Forest and West.
Ride that luck. Da, 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 da. West Ham. I think the only way they probably could have scored a goal is if at half time they came out, sacrificed something to the gods, and because hit the crossbar twice from free kicks, had a goal disallowed for Antonio just running through some
NFL in summer.
Yeah. Jesse Lingard with a scuffed shot leading to our knees scoring. After West Ham also threw a load of money at Jesse Lingard at a corner. Worrying, I guess, a bit for West Ham. But, great for Enfo now coming up, and I think especially with all of the discourse about the number of players they've signed, and it is still going up. They announced 2 on that day and 1 the day before.
It is, frankly, approaching money laundering levels of purchases where I'm like, what shadiness, what money are you trying to
They're not the only ones, are they?
I've tried thinking about this, and it makes sense because they lost 12 players last year from people that transferred out or the loans, because obviously in the Championship you can have a lot more players in on loan, and Forest have been known to do that. So yes, they've made a lot of signings, and they still have more, but all of them are really good as well. And so I just think they've got a fairly decent run of games now. Everton, easy. Then Tottenham City, not great. But then Bournemouth, Leeds and Fulham. So that takes them up to 8 games. That's pretty decent. And then effectively, I thought maybe you can disagree with me, but with the World Cup, if they don't have a lot of players going to a World Cup, they've effectively got a pre-season in the middle of the season to then go hard second half. And if they can put themselves in a decent position, a lot of these signings are good players, and it's either they click and they perform well and they kick on and they stay up, or they've all got resale value, so it's kind of irrelevant, and they probably make all the money back that they spent. But it's an interesting one. I don't think it's
going to be really interesting.
It's as easy to actually properly write it off as terrible.
No,
but it is an entirely new squad. But they are all arguably of Premier League quality. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing how
apart from Wayne Hennessy.
Fair enough. It's going to be interesting seeing how Cooper threads this all together. But if he can nick, and it was nicking 3 points every now and then, or if he can nick a point every now and then from teams that are quote unquote better than them, that's the teams that stay up, because I think if they play the likes of Bournemouth and Fulham and all these players get settled, I think they're going to be in business, So, like you say, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, a World Cup winter break might come at a lovely time for them to kick on towards the end of the season and cement what squad harmony might be already ingrained in everyone else. But yeah, nicking points like this is what you need to do if you need to stay up. And it was a great occasion for the first home Premier League match in 23 years, and it was great to see. But it was a bit of a smash and grab in a way. So fair play to them, and I hope they manage to nick the odd point here and there and then go on a run, because it'll be fun to see Forest do this, because it's going to be players who've not played with each other going, here you go, here's Man City. And that might be fun,
I will say that towards the top of the table, and this will come up again when we talk about Liverpool in a minute, at this point in the season, you care more about the performances than you do about the points.
True.
But in the bottom end of the table, like, these 3 points are potentially huge points for teams in a relegation scrap. Like, every 3 points really makes a difference. Whereas right now you're just trying to get those performances under control at the top half. But these 3 points could be like what saves Nottingham. Like, it could keep info in the league.
Of course it could, yeah, absolutely. They're often very fine margins down there, and we've got teams that we've all said are decent, except Bournemouth. So there's plenty of give in a few teams that we wonder whether they'll be down there. We don't know whether Leeds will be down there.
They will.
I think they probably will be down there or thereabouts.
Yes.
And
Southampton also. Speaking of derbies.
Absolutely. So it's it might be absolutely vital, these 3 points. So yeah, good on them.
I mean, Everton don't look like they're getting any points anytime soon.
I forgot about Everton. They're definitely, absolutely.
This is what I'm saying. Like, Enfo might straight up just get saved by this one result.
Yeah.
Like, this one shithouse
could happen.
Burnley of the week, it could keep them up.
Yeah.
Burnley stayed up for years on
I mean,
shithouse results.
they'll probably need more than 3 points to stay up. I should probably say that.
True.
I don't think it's a particularly hot take, but I'm pretty sure no team has stayed up with 3 points.
Yeah.
Man United are on pace for 0 points, though.
Fact.
The form is bad.
Aren't stats fun?
So we'll take it to your beloved team, and that is on Monday, August 15. Beware the Ides of August? ? Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 1.7 to Palace's 1.5. Chuck.
Woo!
10-man Liverpool kind of bossed you guys around, but generated 1.5 against Liverpool at the same time. So, do you take this one as a positive because you got a point at Anfield? Do you take this one as a, oh shit, we got, bossed around by 10-man Liverpool? How are you feeling as the Palace fan on the pod after this result in this game?
I mean, a roller coaster of emotions, as all football is. Put the lineup out, very angry. We were playing 5 at the back. The last time I watched us play at the back, 5 at the back, I was sat in Wembley and it was fucking abject. So I didn't exactly fill myself with confidence.
You guys played at Wembley? Who was that against? I don't recall. When did you guys play at Wembley?
You'll know that because it's the game you won before you lost your 4th final in 5 years.
There it is. Okay, fair enough.
Don't poke the bear, Oscar.
So I wasn't inspired because I think after you watch how Fulham took the first game and really took it to Liverpool and went ahead, got a little bit of the rub of the green with the penalty, but even still were creating those chances. And so I did kind of also want to see that in our team. But it was very much weathering a storm for quite a while, I'd say, in the first half. Arguably, Liverpool probably should have been scored 2. But we stayed solid, managed to deal with it. And
luckily, Klopp took the missed chances really well. Took them really well.
He about 30 seconds before he scored, I said that Zaha doesn't really break away and have pace.
You need to say that shit
anymore.
more often, mate.
I had already seen him score when you sent that text because I was about a minute ahead of you guys. I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is so good.
I also said that Eze on the left of a 4 was wasting him. That's not the case. And so I think it's kind of like we said about Brentford and the way they looked at the Man United game is exactly how we looked at this Liverpool game. Liverpool, a lot is made of Trent and his defensive liabilities, shall we say, in inverted commas. But the simple fact is that's symptomatic of the way they play as opposed to his abilities, especially over the last few years. His intelligence and reading of the game is vastly superior to what it was. But naturally, because of how they are, he's going to be high and therefore there is going to be space. And so you have to expose that. The fact that it is such a publicly known flaw and very few times is it actually successfully exposed is another thing, and kind of a testament to Liverpool as being one of the best teams in the world. And that then also later on shows in them going down to 10 men doesn't necessarily matter because we aren't necessarily going to open up and throw everything at it when we're in a position to have a point that we wouldn't have expected to. And like you said, every point matters. And if you can, that's good. We still had chances potentially to win the game, but I think it would be, I don't think it would be fair for me to say that the game was there for us to win because by rights, Liverpool still should have won that game, I think. But we had a very effective moment. Zaha scored one of the best quality goals that I've ever seen. I mean, the touch from Eze.
Yeah, exactly. The whole thing was great.
Around
the pass
Trent.
Was ridiculous.
Dump Fabinho, run off a couple of steps, play a beautifully weighted pass. Zaha to hit it, set it early in the perfect spot to beat one of the best keepers in the world. Gary Neville said it was like Thierry Henry, and
can't argue with that.
That was incredible, and so
that's exactly what it was like. Actually, because the way he opened up his body. And it was, like you say...
Off the post and in.
Perfect.
Off the post and in.
Absolutely perfect. The ball to him as well, even before that. Just taking, was it Phillips? Just boom, taking him out of the game.
That was clear because, it's Virgil van Dijk on the other side. And so I think, that was the key attacking part of the game plan. And then the other side of the game plan was for Jockey Anderson just to wind the fuck out of Darwin Nunez.
And boy, did it work.
Yeah. Wow.
Did it perfectly. Did it absolutely perfectly. Managed to get him to bite enough that he went in for 2 headbutts.
It was ridiculous.
And an attempted punch earlier too. Like I'm assuming, was it you that sent that clip of like him getting round up the entire match?
Yeah, it's been doing the rounds. It's about a minute and a half of just like it's just standard centre back and forward play because it was quite clear that we wanted to do that. And Vieira had said they were watching a lot of stuff from Benfica and his time there of what kind of player he is. And obviously for us, a lot of the way we play, it would have been get Anderson the ball to play like the longer passes to try and beat the press. So I think it was natural that those two players were always going to be together, both from a Liverpool tactical perspective and for ours. And you see just every time, just any time Anderson got close, there's a push, there's a budge, there's a I'm here, there's contact, whatever, and just letting him known. And I would say it probably was Diego Costa-esque in that he was treading the line for ages and potentially could have got a second yellow for some other stuff and for some holds. But he played that part perfectly. And, Liverpool's only striker now, out for 3 games, whilst Firmino's also dealing with an injury and Jota. But, then Luis Diaz scores an exceptional goal. One of those ones that's quite painful because, he gets it out wide and runs through. I think he ran through 5, if not 6 Palace players, curled it round another, beating Guaita. If you're going to do that between 2 lines of low block and bang that in, fair enough.
That's the kind of goal that if it got scored on me in FIFA, I'm just turning the console off. Like, fuck this. I'm like, how many times have you practiced that finesse shot? You fucking asshole.
I know. Yeah, definitely.
Come on.
Well, thank God Palace didn't, because they managed to see this out for a point, which was...
Yeah, impressive. After 5 seasons
deserved.
not getting a single point against Liverpool. It had been a decent hunting ground, Anfield for a couple of years there. But yeah, incredible. Never would have predicted that in a million years on there. I would definitely take it on balance of play. I don't think we could have got the 3 without then risking conceding more. So, and there was some real positives in there. I think the fact that Vieira is willing to play a different way and try different things and have a different tactical setup depending on the opponent is something that I was crying out for years with Hodgson.
Of course, yeah.
So to
It's
actually
true.
look back at myself and see, the lineup and be critical of that, I don't necessarily think it was fair. Granted, that was based on a very small sample size and in a game against Chelsea in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
where
emotions involved, yeah.
Well, I didn't understand why we did it in the first half. Chelsea were really quite poor in that first half, and by sitting back and letting them have the ball as opposed to playing our game against them, we gave them a chance then in the second half to get back into it. And so that's probably why I was so disappointed with that. But yeah, it's great that we're playing in a versatile way. Czech Decore looks amazing. I didn't really see the Arsenal match, but in terms of controlling that midfield, he's a great addition for a 22-year-old. Again, is sensational. Shout out Alabama-born Chris Richards coming in, our Captain America, as it were, being on for 11 minutes, and I think winning like 4 aerial duels, making 3 clearances, and just
high pressure situation to go into as well.
I mean, granted, he's come from Bayern Munich, right? So he's aware of being around big players, but you're literally coming for your debut at a club you haven't played before against one of the best teams in the world, and you're under the cosh. So that's great. Michael Elise getting minutes again, that's great. Really good things. Really, really good things, and a great unexpected point. Let's roll that into Villa next week, because Villa have looked pretty shit, and we've never been great at winning the games we should, in inverted commas, and also picking up the points against the unexpected ones.
I tell you, I really fancy Zaha in FPL this week. I really do. It's I haven't got him in my team, but I'm looking.
What's his price?
I'm looking. I think 7.
7 mil.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I'm having a look.
Well, that just about covers the Palace side of it. Ian, shall we get into the Liverpool side of it? Because for me, at least, I think this was actually good looking on them. I think this was like, I don't know how to phrase that, right? Words, podcast, who cares? They were down to 10 men, and they were the better team. No offense, Chuck, but like they were the better team, especially after going down to 10 men.
But it took them going down to 10 to. Well, no, it didn't, because obviously they controlled, as you say, they controlled the first half. But it took them going down to 10 men to light a spark underneath them.
Yeah, that's when they just went unleashed, I think.
And I mean, they were playing Trent as a false 9 after being down to 10 men. Like, what?
But then they did make changes, like they brought off Nat Phillips, they brought on Joe Gomez. They did make the changes that then meant, we lost that ability because Gomez could keep up with Zaha and box him back. So we lost that outlet. And so when you have, and our attack was very one-dimensional, that they could come in and adjust that, and you have players of this quality being able to just go fucking ham, it doesn't necessarily surprise me.
I don't know. I don't know if I was high enough on Liverpool coming into the season, given this. Like, this made me reconsider how actually good they really are.
And that's really interesting, isn't it? That the discourse, they've had what you would look at objectively at the table and you see, right, 2 points from 2 games, that's bad. But then you look at the way Liverpool are playing and it's like, they're still the exact same team. It's just there's a few points here. And remember, they went on that 17-game winning streak, like they've got that in them. But the main thing is really at the minute is the amount of injuries they have. Like, it is a lot. And with Nunez getting suspended, you've got Joel Matip out. You've got Ibrahim Konate, Diego Jota, Firmino.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got the list in front of me, but there's their midfield 3 is starting. Thiago, he's always unfortunately injured. It seems to be. Those are all big losses. Big losses.
And I had gotten to the point where I said in the Slack, I think actually Liverpool might have the best squad, not the best starting 11, but the best squad in the league. And we'll see if that turns out to be true. Because this is the time for them to step up, those players to step up. They have some young players playing important positions and all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't, man, the way they fucking bossed this game, like, I don't think they're going to see that much of a drop off. This was very impressive to me. I don't know, Ian, am I like overreacting to this?
I don't think you are, but I just think it's interesting that it took the spark of their new striker getting sent off to, I don't know. I don't want to be the guy who says it's, the vibes weren't right and then the vibes were right because they were all suddenly galvanized. But it did feel like that because it felt like they're not gonna find a way through here necessarily, because I think Crystal Palace's sorry to go back to Palace, but their organisation was so good at the back.
It was.
I didn't really fear for the Palace goal, and then Núñez gets sent off, and just the pace went up. It just suddenly became shit. We've got to do something now, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. And it was instant. I don't have worries for Liverpool. That would be mad. I think it's yes, they've had 2 draws, but they will do Chuck, like the things that Chuck said. They'll go on big runs of games unbeaten, and it won't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I do wonder whether they're going to make some moves in the transfer window, just to the midfield, maybe just to help them out. I don't know, or whether they're going to put the trust in the youngsters. I like Harvey Elliott a lot.
He looked really good.
Yeah, he played really, really well.
If this is his season to kick on, then and a couple of others, then maybe we'll be all right. I thought, having seen pre-season, Community Shield, I thought Núñez was a really good buy, and I think he will be. But he's got to fucking sort his temperament out, because that was insane, and that's going to happen a lot, especially now. I mean, and that's a worry, because Firmino doesn't look at it these days in quite the same way that he used to. Jota's brilliant, fine. Diaz is brilliant, but they did lose Mane, and they need to have rotation when Champions League kicks in, and they're going to need Núñez to keep his fucking nose clean, and that is not going to be easy now, because defenders are going to know they can wind him up, and he's going to be a target now. But no big fears for Liverpool. I'll be interested to see if there's any more moves in the transfer window coming. There might be one more. I don't know, but I think there's nothing to worry about for Liverpool yet, and I don't think Liverpool fans are worried.
Insofar as there is something to worry about, it's City. It's City who don't look like they're going to drop points.
Yeah.
Right? So, you're already 4 points behind this early, when it looks like City might just never drop any points. That 4-point gap is a huge gap when you're talking about City, who just don't do it.
I don't know. We play them in 2 weeks at their place. That's a win, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's job done, mate.
Yeah, we'll take 3 points off them, and then Liverpool will get a win against them, and bang, they're back
happy
in.
days. But it's 4 points with 35 games left, and it was, how many points did they get back in 15 games? So it's not unassailable. But yes, it's not the start they would have wanted. But as you say, we're looking at, for the top teams, you can be more looking at performances rather than points, because it's a long old season, and I think they'll be massively competing, and Man City will have their drop-offs. Maybe. because they have
emphasis on maybe.
They have before had occasional spells where they've gone through, those periods where they get draws when they should be getting wins. Now, obviously with Haaland and that, maybe that doesn't happen so much anymore. If Foden fucking squares the ball, you fucking
538 does seem to have some great fears, because they are only down, I know sample size of 2, but I just want to bring this up because it's going to piss off Liverpool fans. So
2 games.
City are 59% to win the title. Liverpool are down to 18%.
Wow.
Chelsea are 10%. So Liverpool are not that much better off than Chelsea in terms of the title projections, according to 538 as of this moment. All of the grains of salt, but that's pretty nice to be able to say. I'm just saying.
Man United still 7% to get relegated. I checked that. At some
Man United are 8% to get relegated.
Oh, it's gone up. Lovely.
It's gone up. It's gone up.
Jesus wept.
And Tottenham are 6% to win the title. So I don't know if that went up or down, but
There we
it
go.
seems like it's
sad
City's
for Tottenham
to lose.
fans that it's more likely United get relegated than you win the league. But
Feels like a great double bet for you, Jeff. Go on.
yeah. Sadly, there's kind of fallout from this game, and it's kind of gone around on social media that Jockey Anderson has shared on his Instagram that after he was headbutted, and obviously he's gonna do what he can to get Núñez sent off. He said he's received 300 to 400 death threats on his Instagram page, on his DMs, all
and
those
his
kind
family
of things,
as well,
and his family, all sorts, and that now through the club's player liaison officer, that all that information has been shared with the police, and they will be taking up investigations into this as well. They've contacted Meta, who are obviously the ones that own Instagram, and they've made a comment that they will also be working with the authorities and the club on this matter to bring a swift resolution, because we're always preaching to the converted with pretty much everything we say on this pod. We've done our part to create a nice corner of podcasting and Twitter and Slack and all this kind of thing that we kind of radiate and gravitate towards like-minded individuals. And the simple fact that people think it's okay to do this based on someone getting headbutted in a game with 11 people running around kicking a ball in a fucking bag against 11 people, you feel the need that you wish death upon someone you've never met in your life. Absolutely abjectly disgusting and depressing. I hope Joachim and everyone affected is okay, and I'm sure they are getting the support that they need, but just don't.
Yeah, if you know any fans who are bad fans, call them out. I'm sure at this point there are few, if any, bad fans listening to this, because we've signposted so much of who we are.
I will say this as well, and I don't know how much of this could be people with fake Twitter accounts and those kind of things, but I have seen people with CPFC or something like that in their Twitter handle posting an image of Joachim Anderson in front of a picture of Hillsborough, and I have to own that as people being in my club. I'm not going to say they're not part of my club. Clearly, if they are real accounts, they are part of my club. But I will go around, I will block, I have been reporting. I've never really engaged these people, but it's fucking disgusting and there's no place for it in our society. And some dickheads will call that cancel culture. But you know what? Certain things do need to be cancelled out of our society.
Yeah, fuck them. If you've ever used cancel culture as in that way, just fuck off. Why are you listening to us? You don't belong here. Go away.
Yeah. We mentioned a little bit anyway, just to move on from there. Obviously, fantasy football this week. Lots of 50-50 captaincy decisions. Salah versus Haaland. Neither of them really went well, guys, did they?
Oh, I know why he's bringing this up. Fuck me.
Why? Well, it's a 50-50 decision, isn't it? So, I obviously captain Cancelo.
50-49-1 apparently. And you went with the one.
Boy.
Exactly. Chuck's the one.
A lovely, again, another really close week for us. I got 65, Ian got 64, and Oscar, I believe you finished on 59 points. So we're all within
64, thank you very much.
60. You got a -4, didn't you? I don't know.
You took a hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should put that in when it tells you the score.
I know, it's really annoying. Don't make me do maths. But yeah, great one, especially because I didn't own Gabriel Jesus and it fucking terrified me. I still don't own him. I'm still not going to own him.
I took a hit to get Jesus out, and now I took a hit to get him back in. So technically,
God.
I guess
this is not fan tracks, Oscar.
Back, baby.
I said I was keeping it casual, and that means I'm taking hits because it makes me happy to have transfers.
This is
I don't care.
fantasy the Oscar Puente way. But we're still obviously running our Mophead League. Join link is in our bio of the Twitters, DG63MA, and also in the show notes for the podcast. You can join, get involved. The prize is a mystery shirt. They're all the rage these days, delivered straight to your front door, and you can be like these guys. As I read out our current top 10, in joint 10th we have Gabriel Penalosa with Baby Jota and Owen Carr with Weeze Wanderers. Pad Full, Lynn Hammer make up 8th spot with Fluffy Nutkins and Atletico Bourneville. In joint 6th, lots of ties, lots of hand holding. It's lovely.
Very close.
Last year's Patreon champion, Mr. Rob Heppenstall with Wild Panenka, and McGinn and Tonic, Johnny Worthington. In joint 4th, another lovely little hand holding. Oh, lovely. We have Chicken Tikka Mo Salah with Chris Smith and Vin Lee. Still just question mark. I assume that's an emoji or something. Anyway, in 3rd, I'm wondering if this is Oscar's secret team. We have Guatemalan Cafe Magic, Uber Rodriguez.
Come on, get in.
Come
on, viva la raza. Come on, let's go.
She was flying high after game week 1 with 99. Turned that upside down. She got 66 this week. Saphira Gold. We'll edit out the gap there. It's fucking old man Stimson, press the button. Fulham Till I Die FC, and top of the charts after his game week 1 triple captaincy and having a decent one this week, Mr. Sam Danby with Here Comes the Sun, 78 points, 166. Just Sam, you are 40 places outside the top 10k in the world.
Wow.
But a
Very impressive.
bloody decent one, so well done to yourself. Like we said, you can join us. Join. There's also our Predictor League game. Still plenty of time to enter that until game week 8, the international break, where we'll be closing that off. Predict where you think all 20 teams are going to finish in the Premier League this year, and you'll win yourself a lovely prize as well. Free entry. Do it. Do it now.
What about us, Chuck? How are the hosts in the little host mini league? What are the standings there? I'm curious. Who of the three of us is the best at FPL? I wonder.
Oh, I mentioned that at the beginning. You clearly weren't listening.
I was admiring my score.
Oscar has 132 points. I have 130 points. Ian has 129 points.
Very close.
Very close.
Exciting.
Although you are already technically below us since you have taken a points hit this week.
Yeah,
so
I'm on 128
congratulations.
effectively. Yeah.
You technically, you are third. So well done for bringing that to everyone's attention. Whilst we're on the subject of games...
Oh, is it that time?
Is it that time? Oh, I don't like it if you're doing an English accent.
I didn't mean to. That actually just came out by accident.
Phew.
Accent time. Quiz time. Oscar did. Accent by accident. Accident. Accent. Dent.
You're a drummer.
Quiz. Media quiz.
You're
quiz
a
time.
drummer.
It takes effort to do with that much lack of rhythm, honestly.
It's impressive.
It's not easy. It's not. It helps that there's a time delay.
Sure.
So, like, you guys are hearing me react to it seconds after you.
And I leave that time delay on the pod. I could sync you up.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. All right, gentlemen. The conclusion of the trilogy. We are playing one last round of higher, lower, or exactly right.
Okay.
Ian, I apologize, but in an effort to help you and give you a
Cheat.
leg up this time.
Cheat.
Been a good
Cheat,
competition
sure.
for me.
If you want to think
Cheat.
of it that way.
Collusion.
This week's topic is
Fish.
Oh,
Peterborough.
God. I'm
Oh,
probably
this
gonna
is going to be
worse.
even better.
This is going to be awful. Go on.
This is going to be embarrassing if you lose.
Yeah.
This is a best of 7. Some of it is about the soccer team,
Okay.
and some of it is about the city itself.
Brilliant.
God. Yeah.
Ian,
Yeah.
what is the population of Peterborough? Peterborough. 2020 estimate according to Wikipedia.
Okay, and I just have to say it because Chuck's then going to...
And then Chuck's gonna
I don't have
decide.
to write
Yeah.
it down or anything. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to use my deductive skills to work that
Okay.
out.
190,000.
190,000. Chuck,
190.
is the population of Peterborough higher, lower, or exactly 190,000?
Imagine if he got the census figures in front of him. I'm going to say slightly lower.
Ding ding, point to Chuck. God damn it.
Like,
179,349, which is an oddly specific estimate, but that is the estimate.
Well, maybe there were some births while they were doing the survey.
That was pretty close, though. 190 is pretty close. You're only off by 10K.
11K.
Not too bad. From the population of Peterborough to the population of the stadium, Chuck, what is the capacity of the London Road Stadium, that is Peterborough United Football Club's stadium?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to say 20,500.
Mr. Stimson, is the capacity of London Road Stadium more than, less than, or exactly 20,500?
lower. I think we were looking at around 15, 16.
Correct. It is 15,314.
Gave you too much credit.
Ian.
That one's very much weighted in my favour. If I only had to go lower or higher, like with the population one, I'd have been in as much trouble as Chuck. But with that one, I was all right. Okay, yeah.
Fair enough. Tied up at 1 point each. This is a best of 7.
Best of 7 on Peterborough.
Yeah. If I can think of 7 questions. I just have
If I can think of... Hang on.
their Wikipedia page open.
Jesus wept.
Mr. Stimson, how many years ago was Peterborough United Football Club founded?
Oh, okay.
How many years?
How many years? Yes,
Okay.
not the year, but how many years ago?
How many years ago? So I would.
The number is on their badge.
Yeah.
The year.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do the math, that's all, of what I think the year is. So I would say 88.
88 years ago. Chuck, is it more than, less than, or exactly 88 years ago that the Posh was founded?
So 1934.
That's what I had written down.
It feels like, I don't know, it feels like Peterborough Football Club would be older than that. But then also, you should fucking know.
Yeah,
I'm going to say they are older than that.
Point to Ian. Ian, that is exactly right. It is
Yes.
1934.
I should have had faith in you.
Yeah,
But I had two full quizzes of data to go on.
If Chuck had
That's
said
true.
exact, would he have got the point and not me?
Yes,
Oh, that's amazing. Okay,
Correct.
right.
Oh.
that is how the game works.
Yeah, okay.
But if I'd have said he's exactly right and he was wrong, he would have got the point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What a quiz.
What a quiz.
That's literally how the quiz works. Those are the rules.
Yep.
I'm glad we're in the third one of this trilogy and you're still...
It was the first one that we could probably get specific. I've been one off a few times, but Jesus.
Yeah, you have been. You were like, you
Yeah.
earned the
Oh,
fuck
let's
out of that
keep
point last
going
week.
and talk about the
All right,
asbestos
Chuck.
content of the train station or something.
How many points did the Posh get in the table last season in the championship?
Oh my
Chuck?
god, it was so
Bloody hell.
few. It was so few.
It really was.
Derby had 2 points hits of 21 and were still almost the same as Peterborough.
Yeah, it weren't good.
And it's a 46 game season. 32 points.
That's so funny about how low we're thinking.
32 points. Oof. Mr. Stimson, did the Posh get more, less, or exactly 32
I
points?
don't think it was that low. I think it was higher.
Point to Ian. It was very barely higher
How
at
much?
37 points.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Lovely. How brilliant. 37.
Lovely.
Yeah. Get out.
Is that
next
3-1
question.
Ian? Is that 3-1 Ian at the minute?
It is
This
3-1
for the win.
Ian, yes.
Shit.
Ian for the win.
In a way.
Mr. Stimson,
No one's winning this.
how many goals did the Posh score last season?
I know the answer.
Oh, he knows the
Do you
answer.
really?
He does because it came up in the Fulham pod. Oh my god, because Mitro scored.
Oh no, now I'm second guessing myself.
Because Mitro scored. Was it more or the same? It must have been more, otherwise you wouldn't have brought it up. Okay, I'll go 41.
I think
41. Chuck,
Fuck,
did Peterborough
right.
score more, less, or exactly
no,
41
because
goals?
I think the joke I made was that Mitrovic scored the same number of goals
The
as
same.
Fulham as Peterborough, which was 43. But in my head, I also have the number 40. But I'm going to say 43 goals, therefore higher.
Ding, ding, ding. That is exactly correct, Chuck. 43
Oh,
goals. They scored the
Chuck.
same amount as one Alexander Mitrovic.
Fuck me, that's embarrassing.
Just 63
Just all
short
round.
of Fulham.
The score stands at 3-2. This is still for the win. Ian, if Chuck does the favor here to help you, I don't know.
Excellent.
Chuck,
Yeah.
how many goals
Did they concede?
did they concede?
Fuck. 46 games. Oh boy. 80.
80. All right. Ian, did
That's
Posh
too high.
concede more, less, or
That's
exactly 80
too high.
goals?
I don't think it is too high. I think it's more because I think we conceded way like double what we. Yeah, I'll go higher.
Ding, ding, ding. Mr. Stimson, go ahead and play your music. You get the win.
God, I've never.
87. 87.
87.
87.
Wow.
I wrote 86 down. Jesus Christ. Christ, we were bad.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
But you get the win. And that puts the
Well
season
done,
standings on
you
2
hollow
wins to
fucking
Chuck to
victory.
It
Ian's
really is a
1.
hollow victory, but I'll take it.
Chuck, sorry, I had to keep it interesting. I had to make it about you, and you still almost won.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So,
Still weren't great.
I like that quiz format. I gotta say, I really like that quiz format. We'll never do it again unless I run out of ideas by the end of the year, but I thought that was fun.
We'll do it again.
I have another trilogy ready to go.
There we go.
For the
Star
next
Wars.
2 weeks.
3 weeks, indeed. That's how it works. Numbers. Peterborough winning. What a joy. They're going to
2-0.
piss League One. Congratulations.
Let's go.
Speaking of, let's move into the Premier League. Yay, fixtures. Saturday, 20th of August. You've got 4 days. Well, we've got 4 days. You don't have 4 days. We start off the Saturday with Spurs versus Wolves. Then Palace, Villa, Everton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Brentford, Leicester, Southampton is your 3 o'clocks with Bournemouth, Arsenal rounding off the day. Sunday, we go to Leeds versus Chelsea, West Ham, Brighton. And we're going to come back to Brighton in just a second. There's been a quite frankly, a fucking bombshell at Mop Towers. We'll get to that. Newcastle, Man City in the derby. And we round off Monday night football. Manchester United get destroyed by Liverpool when Eric Sevenhage is born. I'm really wondering if we can place bets on if he'll be gone sooner than Frank de Boer.
It doesn't seem ridiculous, does it?
It might happen. Yeah, so lots of, I think there's some pretty decent fixtures in there. But Brighton, I've made it quite clear over the last few years my positions on Brighton. And then
You like them, right? Is that correct?
We got really excited because we received a new Patreon. Mr. Eric Meyer, friends with
give us some pronunciation, Eric.
Sophia Gold and Stephen Frankincense. And everyone got really excited on the Slack asking who does he support, whatever, and people thinking, oh, wouldn't it be funny if he supports Brighton? Eric is a Brighton fan. So if you enjoy conflict and causing me inner turmoil as I deal with this emotional experience, come join us on the Slack for just $2 a month and witness my downfall. No, it's absolutely amazing to have Eric with us. And just shows the love and the fostering connection we've made. Unless you're a Man United fan, fuck off.
We genuinely don't have any Man United fans.
Not a single one. We have
Good.
Arsenal, we have Spurs,
Fuck 'em.
several Liverpool, now a Brighton, but still
Brighton.
United.
Just one Palace fan. That's all you need. Just me. But anyway, it was going to be an interesting week, but let's get the hell out of here. Thank you all very, very much for listening. Thank you for joining us as ever. Miles Offside Pod on Twitter, patreon.com/Miles Offside Pod. Join the FPL League. Join the Predictor League. Get involved and win some great prizes. Say goodbye, Oscar Puente.
Anthony Taylor, go get a bad hand job behind a Denny's.
Say goodbye, Ian Stimpson.
Bye.
And as ever, our producers, Tom, Andy, Jeff, Sam, Mark, and Nate Whittam. That's right, I did the names backwards. What?